Hello there, people of the internet. It's me again, unfortunately. Sorry, I've got a really bad cold that I'm only just recovering from. I actually had a day off school, which is weird. I never have days off school. So, yeah, if I sound like a sort of a dying toad, that's the reason. Anyway, I told you that I'd be doing some LGBT stuff in these videos, and I didn't do it last week, so I thought I'll do it this week. Obviously, I'm not going to do it every other week. Talking of dates and stuff, I think we've given up on the idea of doing these every week. We're just going to do them whenever. Which, the pragmatic side of me says that's a good idea, because it just means you can do them whenever. The OCD side of me says, why can't you do them every week? Yeah, I don't have diagnosed OCD, and if you do, I'm sorry if that offended you at all. But I do understand OCD. I watched that documentary by John Richardson, which I thought was amazing. And I just have compulsive behaviours rather than actually having a disorder. Anyway, I'm going to be diving into the rainbow this week. Woohoo! I love rainbows. And I'm going to be talking about some of the reactions I had when I came out, as you can tell from the title up there. Hopefully by the time I post this video, YouTube hasn't messed stuff around so much that, you know, the title's down there, or there, or there, or wherever it is. Anyway, so I am not out to everyone. I am out to pretty much everyone apart from my parents and my family. Only my sister in my family knows that I am pansexual. Well, she thinks I'm bisexual because I tend to just tell people I'm bisexual because pansexual involves explaining to them what it means, and I am tired of people, you know? But yeah, for anyone else, I'm just out. I like girls and boys, and they all know that. That's my phone going off, by the way. So I came out to most of my school. I came out to my friends first, near the beginning of year 8, which seems quite young when I look back at it. But I don't think you can say someone is too young to come out. I think if you feel you know your sexuality and you're ready to tell people, then of course you should do. It doesn't matter if you're 10, if you're 40, it really doesn't matter. When you realise you're comfortable, that's when you should start telling people. So I've had a lot of reactions. There's been a lot of different people, but these are the ones that have sort of stood out for me. Most of them weren't negative. It was just I thought they were funny or interesting or just something different, because, you know, most people just say, what does bisexual mean? Because, yeah, they were all about 12. So I'll start off with talking about my friend Sojourner when she came out, because she came out it was really weird, she came out only about a month before me. I think that's maybe what encouraged me to come out to people. I've been thinking about my sexuality for a while before that. Anyway, she came out in school and she's totally cool with it as well. And she was talking to this boy who shall remain nameless in case he watches this video, which is unlikely, I'm hoping, because I don't want anyone who knows me to watch these videos, apart from Laura, obviously. And anyway, she was talking to this guy in science, I think it was, and he was, you know, being the usual cocky 12, 13-year-old boy, thinks it's going to be really funny. He goes to her, oh, so what do you look for in a girl? And she just looks at him and goes, well, what do you look for in a girl? And thinks he's being hilarious. He goes, big tits, which, let's be honest, I think most boys do go in for. But her reaction was the best. She just looks dead straight into his eyes and goes, me too. And his face was an absolute picture. I thought it was really, really funny, because all his friends were laughing as well, and he just was very embarrassed. And I don't think he'll ever ask such stupid, inappropriate questions again. But, you know, it was funny. I thought it was really funny. There's been some negative reactions which, you know, when you look back, they're actually quite funny, and you can laugh at them. I think that's a sign of being able to move on from where someone has called you something or said something to you that you really didn't like, is if you can look back and laugh and say, well, that was such a stupid thing for them to say anyway. For example, there was another boy in my sociology class when we were discussing gay families, so I was getting up on my little soapbox saying what I thought, because I'd like to have a family one day, and I don't care who my partner is. I mean, I care who they are. I don't want to get married to a total stranger. I mean, I don't care if they're a boy, girl, whatever. I just, I'd quite like to get married, have kids, I'm that sort of person. But I was working in a group with these people and we were discussing that, and I basically came out to the group because most of them didn't know me, and this one boy was just, he goes, "You're bisexual?" I was like, "Yeah." He just goes, "Ew," and I'm thinking, great, another homophobe, because there's lots of them. You just got to ignore them. There's no point, riling them, especially the ones on YouTube. People just feed them because they're trolls, and it's stupid. Back to my other video. But anyway, he comes up to me after class, and I'd just given up on him for the rest of the class because I thought, well, once a homophobe feels like that, there's little you can do to change their opinion, apart from, be epic and make them see that LGBT people are awesome. And he just comes up to me and goes, "Molly, I'm really sorry about what I said. I thought it meant you were transsexual." For a start, how do you get the two mixed up? They're pretty similar. I mean, they're both in the phrase LGBT, but that's about it. It'd be a bit awkward if you got a bisexual and a transsexual person mixed up. But also, you're still homophobic if you think it's disgusting to be transsexual. You can't change homophobia into transphobia and think that's going to be okay. That's like saying, "Oh, I'm really sorry I was racist to you. I meant to be sexist." It's ridiculous. But still, I can look back and laugh now, which, as I said, I think is a sign of being able to move on. Because he's just a bit thick, to be honest. I think the most common reaction is, it depends whether the person is a boy or a girl. Because I think one of the funniest things about being a girl and being bisexual is when you come out to boys, you can tell, straight boys this is, you can just tell they have one thing on their mind, and that thing is threesome. It's literally painted in their eyes. It's just, oh my god, this is a girl you could have a threesome with. None of them are sexually attracted to me at all, but you can tell that is what bisexual means in their eyes, which is, quite funny, because I'm not usually attracted to them at all, and they aren't to me. It's just the fact that, they think about sex every 3 seconds, apparently. Most girls, the common reaction is, "Do you fancy me?" Even if they don't ask it outright, you can sort of see it in their faces. The answer to which, of course, is no. I don't even know half of you. How can I fancy you? I don't fancy every girl. You're straight. You don't fancy every single guy. What a ridiculous question. Yeah. Back to Sojourner. I think when she came out to her mum, she's come out to her mum and not her dad. I think it's one of the best reactions ever. Her mum was on the computer playing a game on the computer. Her mum's awesome, by the way. She's so cool. And she just goes to her. She'd been working herself up about it, to be honest. And she just goes, "Mum, you do know I like girls and boys, right?" Mum doesn't even look up from the computer. Just goes, "Yeah, honey, sure." And then gives it a second. Then goes, "But you're not allowed anyone in your bed until you're 15. I don't care what sex they are." And then she just goes back to playing a computer game. That is the best parenting technique. I would love it if my parents were that cool about it when I come out. Not if, when. So yeah, that was a brilliant reaction. Her mum is brilliant. I think one of the reactions, which was just off the norm, or close to the norm but different, was when I came out to my friend Ivan, who I will name because he's probably going to come up in these videos a lot. And he is asexual. If you don't know what that means, it just means he basically doesn't have a sexuality. He's never has been, and I don't think ever will be, to be honest, because he seems pretty serious about it. He just isn't attracted to anyone at all. And his reaction, most people's reaction is, "Ew, you want to have sex with girls." His reaction was more, "Ew, you want to have sex with anyone." He's just like, you're attracted to people. That's just weird. Which is funny because, normally people think his sexuality is the one that's abnormal. But in his opinion, the idea of, having feelings for someone else is just odd. Like him. I'm allowed to say that because I'm his friend. I think one thing, it wasn't a reaction to me coming out exactly, but it was just something that made me think. It was about at the end of year 8 and just made me think, okay, people are comfortable with this, which is good because I'm comfortable with this in my sexuality. And I was in science class once, and a boy called Theo, who I'm also going to name because this was a nice reaction, so I don't feel bad about saying his name, was explaining to a group of girls about female oral sex. God knows how they got through 13 years of their life without realising how it works. And then again, 2 of my 14-year-old friends came up to me the other day and goes, "Molly, are you ever going to have sex?" Yes. I mean, I know I'm not that attractive, but surely I'm not hideously ugly either. And they go, "How would it work?" I refused to explain, because, you know, I have decency and decorum, so I told them to look it up on the internet. It's not my fault they went on Google Images and are now mentally scarred for life. Anyway, so he's explaining oral sex to these girls, and he just turns to me and goes, "Molly, you lesbians have a lot of oral sex, don't you?" At the time, I had no idea what to say, because as far as I was concerned, I was being asked whether I had oral sex. So of course I said, yeah, because I was very bad at communicating then, nothing has changed. But it just made me think, yeah, we can joke about this now. This doesn't have to be an issue. In fact, this is so much of a non-issue. I wish other people would see it like this. And it was nice to think that someone else realises this doesn't have to be a big thing and can joke about it and is comfortable with it. So, yeah, that was some of the reactions I thought were quite funny when I came out. Hopefully one of them made you laugh, possibly. And yeah, I hope this video was okay, because I'm ill and tired, and I didn't really want to make this, but I did, because I thought it would be best. So yeah, hopefully this has made any LGBT people who watch this feel as though, you know, no matter what reactions people have when you come out, you are awesome, okay? But you're epic, and it doesn't matter what anyone says when you come out, because all that matters is you know who you are, and you can label your sexuality, and that's cool. Anyway, that's all I have to say for this week. I've done my soapbox thing, and bye!